This is my calendar I use as a W-2 sales rep when I was making a bit under $3 million a year in commissions. Check it out. This is really good. Now, this is how you win at the productivity game. This is really important for you. I see so many reps screw this up and they wonder why they're not selling a ton. First of all, I'm always focused. When I was in the trenches like you, I'm always focused on, and what am I doing right now? Is it producing sales or income? So income producing activity. So here's how I started the day. I started my day at 5 a.m. It's just me, okay? I went to the gym, 5:30 to 6:30. I'm back to my house. I never wanted to live too far from the gym or work, so I typically lived no more than 15 minutes away, just my personal thing. Now, the first time I did anything with work is I would check my emails right at around 7:30 a.m. Now I had a calendar, so I had a Gmail, the Google Calendar, whatever it was, and I checked my emails religiously right here. I also only checked my emails 3 times a day. Now, one thing I will tell you, when you get up to a certain income level as a sales professional, you should really look at hiring an assistant that checks your emails for you. Because at a certain point, when I got up to a certain commission level, I had an assistant that checked my emails for me and responded to them. And if there was some that she didn't know how to respond, those were the ones that I actually checked. So she would have it set up where they were categorized, where I knew that I needed to respond to these 2 emails. Maybe it was a prospect with a question. Maybe it was a proposal that they needed something with that she didn't know how to actually do. I paid her well because she saved me a ton of time. The trick is here, don't check your emails every 10, 20, 30 minutes, every hour, because you're not in income producing activities. Okay, I just want to make sure you understand that, all right? Now, if you're expecting an email from a prospect that's about to pay, that's an income producing activity, okay? Now, what I would always do, I'd always be at the office. Typically, when I was checking my first emails, I was at the office around 7:30, 7:45 a.m. By 8 a.m., what was I doing? Income producing activities. Now, it depends on your industry. I'm just giving an example of just one of the industries I sold in. I sold in for 2 business to consumer, 2 business to business. On the phone from 8 to 11 in the morning, because my mind is the sharpest at this time, I was either cold calling prospects when I was in B2B sales, or I was calling outbound leads, like buyer leads, somebody that responded to a name. They put in their name, email, phone number. Maybe they bought something small that the company I sold for was selling, and I was calling those buyer leads. Now, we call that PTB. So this schedule I'm showing you, prospect time blocking, okay? Income producing activities, all right? That's what I did from 8 to 11. Now, there were some times where maybe I had a scheduled appointment at 10:30. I wasn't like so bent on this schedule where I couldn't adjust it. But if I could have it 3 hours straight of just calling leads, that's all my mind is focused on. Try to do this as much as you can. Try to schedule your appointments later in the day. That's just what I wanted to do. I wanted to call leads at this hour, okay? Now, from 11 to 1 with my schedule, as best I could, I would actually get with booked appointments. Now, some of this is going to depend on your industry, whether you have inbound, outbound, or cold calling, okay? Now, also what I didn't take long lunch breaks. A lot of people in my office, salespeople, wanted to go on hour lunch breaks. Not me. Unless I was meeting a big time client, I wasn't going on lunch breaks, okay? I would literally have a sandwich or whatever, and for about 20 minutes, from about 1 to 1:20, I was eating lunch. And actually, that was the second time I was responding to emails while I was eating lunch. Remember, I'm focused on income producing activities. If I'm not doing something in that range, it's not making me any sales, okay? Now, from 1:30 to 5:30 p.m., sometimes I might only work till 4:30. It just depends on where I was at that week, all right? I was working on booked appointments. Maybe if a booked appointment that I had personally set, so I'm talking about like I had set that booked appointment, because what I mainly did was outbound leads, okay? So I'd book those appointments later in the day or the next day, and I was having those on the schedule. Now, if somebody didn't show up, what was I doing? Not sitting around. I was following up with leads who maybe didn't buy from the month before or 6 months before. I wasn't saying the word follow up. I was just following up the term, okay? And I was also calling outbound leads if a booked appointment didn't show up, all right? Now, typically, I was out of the office by 5:30. Like I said, sometimes I'd work till 6, 6:30. Sometimes I'd work till 3. It depended on where I was at in the week, the month, the quarter. And then, when was the last time I checked my emails? typically as I was walking out the door in the office or right before bed at 10 p.m. Now that schedule wasn't like I was working 80 hours a week or anything like that. It was focused on my skill level. Okay. So that schedule made me a bit under $3 million in commissions. All right. That schedule right there. Now, if you want to learn how to better schedule your day where you're focused on income producing activities and you're doing it for your industry, because there are some nuances to what I showed you, comment the word productivity. I've got a full training that I'm going to give to you for free. So comment the word productivity and my team will send you free training right here. Hope that helped.